We're coming on the air with breaking news out of Michigan. Police are providing an update on an attack at a synagogue, Temple Israel, in West Bloomfield, a suburb of Detroit. Now, this comes as two senior law enforcement officials briefed on this incident tell NBC News that a suspect is dead. That attack happened earlier this afternoon. Let's listen to authorities.
Okay, so again, this is all going to be super preliminary stuff. And anytime you have a situation like this, information changes and evolves. Here's what we know so far. A car came to the facility, breached the facility by driving into it, was engaged by security. We believe there is one individual deceased in the vehicle. It's been complicated because there was some fire, to say the least, with that vehicle. We believe that individual is deceased. No kids, this is the important thing, no kids or no staff is injured whatsoever, okay? So we have no victims other than one of the lead security people was hit by the car and was taken to the hospital for treatment. That individual should be okay. So far, that's our information to this point. We have agencies from all over. Obviously, ATF is here, FBI. More than likely will be taking the lead on this based on some of the preliminary investigative information we have, but we're not going to go into that at this point. But we want to assure the community it doesn't appear to be anything active. We're still clearing the area. We're going to clear vehicles for any explosive devices, the building, etc. Unification of the families and the kids are in progress. We've accounted for everybody that we believe was in the building at the time. So we're on path to continue to maybe pivot to, is there anybody else involved, and the investigative side of what's happened.
And so you confirm that it was security that shot and killed the suspect here?
Well, we can't say what killed him at this point, but security did engage the suspect with gunfire.
Did the suspect have a weapon?
We can't get into a lot of that stuff, but he breached the building, drove down the hall, and he was engaged by security.
So do we know, did he ever fire shots, the suspect?
Preliminarily, we have some information, but nothing that we confirm, so we're not going to go into it.
Where did he breach the building, the front?
He drove in through doors with a vehicle.
There was only one person in that vehicle?
That's what it appears at this point.
What do we know about this fire?
Something ignited in the vehicle. That's a work in progress. We're, through an abundance of caution, clearing the vehicle for IEDs or any explosives. We've got a significant number of bomb dogs on site, bomb techs on site, and all of that's going to be done to check the boxes. We have deployed resources all across the county, just in case, out of an abundance of caution, that there may be a secondary site, but we don't have any information at this time to believe that. So we want people to take a breath. No one was hurt. We're on top of it. The chief and his team got here fast. Everything that was supposed to happen happened. Security did their job, and then the responders did theirs.
Was it a Michigan?
What did the call come out as?
I believe it came out as an active shooter.
Yeah.
Where and when did you actually neutralize the threat? Where was
The vehicle's in the hallway of the building, inside the building.
he was shot right there?
Again, I can't tell you what he died of until we get a little further. We haven't actually gone into the car. It's still being cleared.
So we do know that the security guard shot this.
They shot
at them, but it's unclear if he was killed.
You know, situations like this, you never know if somebody's trapped sometimes to kill themselves. So the suspect was engaged. Is the clearest sentence I can give you.
What is the condition of the security officer?
From information I got, he should be okay. He was knocked unconscious.
So it's a different security officer who fired the shot?
There were multiple security officers on scene, and the one that was hurt was pulled from that area by his team.
Where's the car registered from?
We're not going to get into the specifics in the car at this point.
You say what type of car it is, sir? A truck or an SUV?
It was
Bloomfield scene, the sheriff's scene. I know everybody's here.
Everybody's here, more than likely, based on a couple early pieces of information. The FBI may take the lead. That's yet to be formally determined.
Were there explosives in his vehicle?
That's yet to be cleared.
How much damage to the building from the fire?
That I can't even tell you.
Do you have anything
You
to
couldn't
say
even
about
see the hall was completely clear. We had to send people in with gas masks to clear that area.
How are the kids doing?
All the way in the building.
Do we know how fast he was going?
It's hard to say how fast. I mean, he was traveling with purpose down the hall from my look at the video.
Chief, this could have been a far worse situation considering the severity of it, him getting into the building, whatever may have been in the vehicle. Talk about just the response, those security guards, and how this could be far worse than what we're reporting and seeing right now.
No, absolutely. In fact, what I would tell you is that I am deeply proud of the response, not only from the security that was on site, but also of all the police officers and the firefighters that are here right now. We train on active shooter events a lot. The county has a consortium, OCTAC, that trains the entire county on active shooter tactics, and that's something that we believe in and that we support, and I think that training certainly helped to mitigate what happened here today.
And the chief has been in contact with all of the facilities for weeks, and not just on the last couple weeks, but constantly forever. But in the last couple weeks, even a lot more integrated communication. You know, I mean, there are always, and all of the agencies in Oakland County are partnering with their religious institutions and schools. And anytime there's a concern, there's communication, there's extra patrol, extra attention, extra warnings. That had all happened for the weeks leading up to this. And the team inside that building was very queued up. And I know the chief had communicated directly with their head of security weeks ago.
Were there any directed threats at this specific temple?
There was no specific chatter about any institution or facility in Oakland County, but they were all on alert.
Sheriff, we see vehicles leaving. Is the all clear of an issue? Is the shelter in place still in?
It's still in place until we clear vehicles and make sure there's no IEDs or other secondary potential. But we believe there's nothing active at the moment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Yep. So likely that there could be another press conference here, maybe within the next 2 hours.
Okay.
Something like
Thank
that.
you.
Yep, same place. And that we've just been on heightened alert just because of all the world events, and we stay plugged in with our faith community. Yep.
I'm sorry, I walked in a little bit late, so can you just tell me what you can about the fire?
So right now, those details we're not releasing at the moment because it's still part of the investigation that we're still trying to piece everything together.
But it was a fire in that hall where the car was?
Those details we're not sharing.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I missed it or...
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Go back and look at my notes.
Chief, do you believe that the communication you had with the
around 12:30, I don't have
prevented this from being worse than it could have been?
I think it certainly helps anytime that we're able to stay in contact and free flow of information back and forth. These are so hard to predict that anything like this would even happen. Dale, D-A-L-E, last of Young, Y-O-U-N-G.
And forgive me for the redundancy, but in a chronological sense, I heard obviously from the sheriff that drove a vehicle in, and what happened as far as a step-by-step?
We've been listening to local law enforcement in Michigan, and I want to bring into our conversation now NBC's Tom Winter, who is part of our team that has been reporting on this investigation. And Tom, it was notable that the sheriff was trying to do a number of things. First, to calm the community, that the worst of this incident appears to be over. But he also said something that was notable. Based on investigative material he has not disclosed, he said the FBI may be taking the lead. What does that say to you?
Yeah, it says that there's some preliminary pieces of information, Kelly, that lead them to believe that this could be a federal crime. And when we hear that in connection with an incident that happens at a house of worship, in this case a synagogue, that's typically something that means that this person was going against the religion there, perhaps anti-Semitic, perhaps an act of terrorism. We'll have to wait and see. But the fact that he indicated, and you and I were both messaging during the press conference, that really stuck out to us, that there's already some preliminary information that is leading this toward a federal crime. And so that could certainly speak to motive here. A couple other pieces of information that we're picking up from our law enforcement contacts, as well as from that press conference. A bomb squad, the Michigan State Police bomb squad, is actively investigating, along with other bomb squads, that vehicle. There appeared to have been some sort of a fire that erupted once the vehicle was stopped after the security guard bravely engaged with this car, who drove down a hallway. They needed to put on respirators to be able to get to there to conduct this investigation. The best news out of all of this, Kelly, is the fact that there are no injuries to any students who were in the school or any of the teachers. That's fairly remarkable given the incident and event that we've seen here. But there is serious concern about this incident that is ongoing. And of course, we've already covered another incident today, which is a shooting at Old Dominion. That is very much under investigation. And so this promises to be a very busy day for law enforcement across the country as we try to get to the bottom of what exactly happened here and, of course, the why.
And a couple of key questions, as you alluded to. Was this suspect armed with something beyond the vehicle, yes, which, of course, is an instrument of deadly force, and what caused the fire? So some lingering questions there. And, of course, Tom, it comes against the backdrop of the U.S. war in Iran. So that does conclude this NBC News special report. We have more ahead on NBC News Daily and a full wrap-up tonight on NBC Nightly News. I'm Kelly O'Donnell in Washington. Thank you for watching.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.